Hey, what's up? It's been a little while. I know I threw some unedited travel vlog at the Lake Havasu, but we had some issues. There's around here where I'm at now, unprecedented winter weather and knocked out some internet and whatnot. So I haven't been on here very much, but I'm going to go over what happened at Lake Havasu. Why I'm not really that mad about it. I placed 66 out of 178 boats, but here's why I'm not mad. One, I had the lower unit go out on the first day before even half my day is over. Well, it looks like I spun out a lower hub or something. We don't know. We got to go to the Mercury, but went out and after all that bad practice, got 5 and had a kicker, a 4.5er, and we're just by 11:30, and I had a weigh-in time of 5. We're getting ready to go do that, go look for a big one for another kicker, and headed back to my largemouth spot, which ironically my smallmouth spot produced 5 largemouth. But we're going and doing that, and something happened, spun a hub, had to send my co-angler in, weigh those fish, and then he came back and he's telling me right now. But still pretty happy from what the day is. Hopefully the engine's okay, but we got 11 something pounds and a 4.5 big fish with. So I got drawn 152nd or something like that. I was in the second to last flight out of 10 flights or something like that. It was a lot. That's my luck with one bass, is I always get drawn in the bottom 25%. I don't know why. It just happens. Out of 4 tournaments I fished with them in recent history, it's always been, I'm in a triple digit number for damn sure, way up there, almost in close to 200. So I knew that was going to happen, but it worked out for me. So what happened is day one, which I'm going to go over some of the stuff I went over, but I'm going to go into detail on the Patreon. I'm going to throw a video up there detailing how I caught the fish that I did catch. So day one, awesome, got a great partner, ran down to my spot. There's already a guy on there because I'm one of the last boats. So there's a guy on my spot. There's another guy around it. The guy's running around. I called my shot. I was like, here, I'm going to flip over here. I'm going to get a fish real quick. Oh, well, let's go back to practice. I go back to practice. So you didn't get to see practice stuff. I have some video I'll probably throw on here of practice and on some of the tournament days, but I actually forgot my camera and a lot of this. Practice, I was running around the whole lake. I used practice to eliminate water. I did. I go to this one spot that I've been to last year. First cast in there with a similar lure. Bam, pull up. There's a 5-pound smallie, right? And a couple other ones chasing him. I just popped that hook right out of his mouth and let him go back to his little spot. And I'm like, oh, dang, it's on. They're back in that spot. This is going to be game on for this spot. Now, granted, I was telling my partner, it's this spot's probably day, 2-day thing, and then the third day you're going to have to be looking for stuff unless some more fish move up. So anyway, run around the lake, didn't get a damn bite the rest of the time for practice, right? Just that one bite. So anyway, day one, back to day one. So I run down. Day one, we're there. Call my shot. I was like, I didn't touch this in practice, but I know there's a fish here because, if it's the same as year before. Sure enough, second cast there, bam. Catch it, it's a decent fish. Nothing to write home about. Keep going, watching this other guy. He picks up a fish. He's running around. We go in there. I catch another fish. All right, there's 2. Go around some more. Catch another one. All right, that's 3. My partner gets 1. Okay, that's our 4 because it's a shared wave format, 1 bass. Okay, that's 4. I was like, all right. I told him if we get our 5 here, we're gonna run to my big, because I had a big fish spot. And I didn't tell you about practice. I went to one spot. And I could see with my forward sonar, which I'm going to do another video on the pros and cons of some of that live that stuff, that forward array sonar. But anyway, went over there, saw the fish there, saw some real nice what looked to be bass, and I had them chasing some stuff, but I didn't hook them. That was the closest thing to the other bite of the practice. Anyway, so we're running around. I'm like, all right, we're going to have to do something. These other guys that were fishing with us were trading back and forth. They only got the 1 fish. Oh, hang on. All right. They only got the 1 fish. They're putting their jackets on, right? They're putting their jackets on, getting her to turn their engine on, and I stick a giant. Well, I mean a giant. It feels like a giant. I got on 6-pound test, and this thing's just rolling, and I'm trying to keep it out of the stuff. And It's about a 4.5 to 4 3/4. We thought maybe 5-pounder. Real nice fish. Caught it on a real small bait or a real small hook. That's another thing my partner couldn't believe. Is like, I catch some big fish on some small hooks. But so we're set. 5 fish. I'm thinking, okay, that's about 4.5. I always underestimate. I was like, all right, we got about 10. Probably with those other 2-pounders, eight. We're looking at a little over, 11, 12 pounds. I was like, all right, it's time to get out of here. We did what we had to do within a few hours, and now it's time to go gangbusters and go just fish for one more kicker fish. We get another 4.5-pounder, and we're in this game. So we're running up, and all of a sudden, right in the mid lake, so we didn't hit anything, right in the middle of Lake Havasu, or on the lower third, bam, my engine does something crazy, and it stops. So I turn it back on, and it won't go in the gear. So we take a rod. Oh man, some of the gearing in the lower unit's gone. So we're out. We are out. We're dead in the water, right? Start calling around, figure out who can come get us, because we have 5 fish and they're decent. They're good. I mean, the way practice was, that should put us at least in the top third, even if we have to call the day short. So finally, we waste a guy down. We throw our fish in there. My partner goes up, and this is like, we're not even halfway through our day. Like I said, it took us a couple hours. We got our limit, and we were going to go get a kicker. And I know some places, I'm sure maybe even if we only got one bite and called up, conservatively, I'd have thought we'd have close to 15, 16 pounds. We wouldn't have been in the lead more than likely unless we just really hit them. But you never know. It's fishing, right? So anyway, got the fish up there. He luckily had a boat there, because nobody would come and get us even though it's half a day, because I thought we were so far down. So they come back, tow us in. Hey, credit to that Lowrance Ghost, because I went full bore on it for over an hour and made over 3 miles on it. And then they come and pick me up, go in, have the Mercury guys look at it. It's shot, man. And they don't even have a lower unit to put on it within hundreds of miles. So I'm just out of it. And I'm not going to take the bacon saver from, there was an extra boat there from my partner, but he had sold that to somebody who was on his way to get it. So granted, he used it to come in and tow me out. I wasn't going to take a chance and use that boat and potentially lose him some money by accidentally, if something were to go wrong, God forbid, on a boat that he just sold. So I decided, hey, I'm just going to man up, and I'm just going to run my trolling motor the next day. So there we end up having 11.5. We're 42nd place, which was right where my estimates were. Hey, we're in the top third, and we only fished half a day. So I was like, I know there's some fish around here. And granted, I guess the first day they really beat the snot out of those fish around the marina area, which is a common community hole. But it's also one of those places where you hit it right, it's good to go. So I was optimistic. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not mad. It didn't drive me to say, sorry, I'm driving here, I'm trying to get in this parking lot. And it did not get me upset, because the plan that I'd put together worked like a charm. It was just the boat, right? So I wasn't flustered at all. I go home or go to the hotel, and I work on tackle and make sure my batteries are all charged up, and get a hold of my partner. We go out the second day, right? And he's a little probably standoffish about it. He's a young kid, but he's like, oh man, we're stuck here. Couldn't get another boat. I was like, well, I just didn't feel like taking that boat from this dude, because he sold it, right? So we go out just with the trolling motor. They're calling the boats. It's all choppy. You got 100-something boats. We go out and we go, kick it up a little notch. We just go around the marina, fish hard all day. There's like 40, 50 boats, and I think I got some video of that I'll put in here. They're all over there because they had pounded on the first day, and a lot of the top guys were right there. They're beating it up. They weren't getting shit. It was nada. So we were in there, and I pull off one right in front. I'm weaving through guys, right? Like trying not to get with it. They're not anchored or anything, so it's not like a violation of the rules. But I'm like, I don't want to get in front of in their cast, because we could literally cast in our boats at times. So I go around and I'm doing my little technique that I'll put on the other video, but with my little deal, and bam, catch one. Then a guy comes, this is how close we are. So he goes, oh, nice job, guys. A couple minutes later, bam, get another one. All right. Put them in the box. They're little. They're not nothing to write home about. 1.5 pounders or something like that.
It's such an easy meal. Should be able to get one. Left that cage, going to another one.
But I'm like, all right, we're on to something. We can do this, man. Later in the day, I mean, a couple hours, having to get up in the shallow. Bam, we get one. Bam, my partner gets one. Bam, I lose one. And they're right there. And we end up having 4 in the box. And then I lose one at the end of the day. Or I had one, just pegged on barely. So we had our chance for 5. We ended up winning 4 for 7. Next day, do the same thing. Fish all day with another guy. And he was a great guy, too. All my partners were great. End up finally getting one. I was telling him how we're doing it. And it was like a 3.5 or beautiful fish. I think I ended up in 66th place with I think 20 pounds or something like that. I don't even know. I'm not upset or anything. It wasn't, I fished the best that I could under the circumstances. And I pulled out fish in front of people, around people, that they weren't catching. They're going right over them. They're going through them. So I was very proud of myself on that. I, didn't cash a check, and it ended up costing me a lot of money because I have to replace the lower unit, which is on its way. But I'm happy with the tournament, and that's the only reason is because of how well the plan did come together. I only really got to fish my stuff for less than half a day and did really well. Didn't even get to go to my big fish spot, and I ended up fishing probably 80% of the tournament around the community hole that was beat in the first day. And, lost out on half the day. Well, I'd say 2/3 of the tournament or a little bit more. Because the first day I only got a couple hours of fishing in, and then my day was over. So overall, it was great. It was actually a great tournament. For 66 out of 178th place, probably never hear me say that again. That was a great tournament. And anyway, I'm going to try to splice in some of what footage I had, because on the first day when I was catching those fish, I forgot the camera. I mean, I left it in there. And then I wasn't really thinking about it when the boat went down. And then the second and third day, I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to worry about the camera too much. I'll film a little bit, but not too much. Anyway. So what's next? Well, we got the MPFL in Lake Eufaula, which, there's going to be a lot of pressure on that lake. They have the Red Crest and Big Bass Bash, which if you've ever seen a Big Bass Bash, there's like 400 plus boats on a lake. They beat the snot out of it, and they're only going for one fish. But I don't think it's going to have the effect as what I'm used to out west, where you have a few tournaments like this Lake Havasu. They had 2 tournaments before. There were at least like 80 boats or something like that, and that does affect the fishing. You can really beat the fish up. But in these lakes in the southeast, I think this pressure, you have a little lag, especially in the time of the season when there's fish moving from they're deep to shallow, that you could actually have certain waves of fish that are getting the pressure and other waves that are just coming in that are not going to be pressured. So that's what's coming up. I have to get my lower unit put on, which I'm going to do myself. It should be here sometime today. And I got some orders. And then I'm going to redo my camera configuration so I don't forget to, because you have to actually film when you're in the MPFL, I guess. So I'm going to have a different camera configuration, a couple GoPros going on, and then I'm supposed to have a good camera here, so I can do these a little bit more, professional. Should have a good camera here soon. But other than that, the MPFL is going to be lit, because I think that lake's going to fire off. We're going to be right in the middle of it, of fish moving up, but which I don't like. I'll be honest, I'm not a big slugfest guy. Because then anybody can just walk into, a group of fish and really tear them up. I'm more the type of guy that likes to see the lower 2/3 of the field struggle to catch limits. Then I know when I'm on something, or I find fish, that I'm on something special. I've really figured out the puzzle. Instead of you can just willy-nilly just go around and stick a limit, because this is not how I fish, because I'll end up, my job, I figure, is get 5 fish, and a lot of times if in a slugfest you get 5 fish and you're looking around for, you are looking around for big fish. But there's some guys out there that just get lucky and they stick 20 pounds or whatever. So I like the battles, I like the grinds, and I think I kind of thrive more on that, because when you figure something out, you figure that puzzle out, you figured the puzzle out. or some puzzle, because there's multiple things going on, even in a real tough tournament. Like Havasu is an example. I did something different than the other guys. See, the other thing, and then I'm going to end this, and then if you want to see some of the more of the lures and techniques, I'll have a video on the Patreon. But I went there and I stuck that smallmouth in practice. And I thought I was going to get into some giants, because they were giants. I didn't realize how many giant smallmouth are in Lake Havasu. And they should have been moving up first. I went out there and I went to that spot. I didn't catch a smallmouth. That's why I was going to go there day 2. When we were leaving, I was like, I'm going to leave this for day 2. We got our 5. We're getting out of here. Because I know there's big smallmouth hanging around in there, and they should only get better. They should only get further up. I should just got to find them. But I didn't catch one. And there was at least 3, because I seen them, at least 3, 4.5, 5 pounders. And, but I caught all largemouth the entire tournament, even around the marina area or whatnot. It just never happened. I'm a smallmouth guy, right? But I don't know where I was going with that. Just to say, there's a lot of things going on. Oh, and then some of the winning guys were fishing. That's why, different things even in tough tournaments. This is kind of a tough tournament. There's some guys throwing reaction baits, and there were some guys throwing some swim baits, and there were some guys throwing some hair jigs and blade baits, and of course the drop shot played a role. But anyway, like and subscribe this stuff. We're building an audience, and when we get the NPFL, this is going to be lit, because this is the inaugural stuff. This is the season. There's a lot of media coverage going to be tied to this, and you can watch what I do here. And maybe even live stream. If I can get the camera set up and we get a signal, I can probably live stream to my channel, and you can watch that too. That'd be pretty awesome. But regardless of that, like, subscribe, check out the Patreon. If there's links, I'm going to try to put some links in the description, because I got some affiliate stuff with like a cool t-shirt company, and then also some Bass Pro Shop stuff, or even